Alright gamers, and especially Nintendo buffs, this is a review that I'm sure most of you have been anticipating for a long time. Well, trust me, this has not been an easy process, but here we go. It's finally here. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on Nintendo Switch. And you're probably like, what? Yeah, that's right. I have the Nintendo Switch version even after I said I'm not going to get the Switch version because I have the Wii U version. Well, things have changed actually, because, well, here's the story. I traded my Wii U version in for the Switch version. So here's the thing though. I have many respects for the Wii U version. Don't let this change your decision on which version you should get, though I say if you have the Nintendo Switch, definitely get this version. And another thing, they're both the same thing. They're the same exact game, they both play the same way. Yes, I did beat the entire Nintendo Wii U version, and I still think that's a very underrated console. I mean, Christ, I'd put it on the list of top 10 games, that I think are the best on the Wii U. And I think it was a perfect transition between that and this console, the Nintendo Switch. So, yes, the Wii U version's great, but what could be better than playing it at home on the Wii U? How about playing it at home and on the go? I mean, come on. So, yeah, sure, I went from a big disc to a little SD card thing. Well, okay, the game's actually in the console, so now I'm going to do a much more elaborate and pretty much a full review because this is a really big game, and I did a premature review on it and everything, so let's get our swords and our shields and bows and arrows and boomerangs and all sorts of weapons and tunics ready. This is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Alright, well, might as well get to the plot first, and that is that the whole kingdom of Hyrule has been overthrown by evil Ganondorf himself, and, well, left in ruins. I mean, seriously, this whole freaking kingdom is left in ruins. Enemies all over the place, and your character, Link, who you pretty much play as in every single Zelda game, nothing out of the ordinary there, awakens and pretty much has no memory of what happened after 100 years of being knocked out. So, yep. And he has to pretty much collect himself, try to figure out what the hell is going on, and he comes across this man who, yeah, surprisingly, occasionally says actual spoken words. Yeah, get used to this whole text reading. I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. If you want to see a Zelda game that has actual spoken dialogue, then here, play these games then. Ugh, okay. Bad idea there, let's not go there. Anyway, yeah, this is how you create a Zelda game. And yeah, occasionally you get actual spoken dialogue, but for the best part, it's best to leave it the way it is. And I'm fine with that. So basically, this big bearded fellow helps you around, tries to get you to regain your memory, and try to regain powers, and try to help you out to defeat Ganondorf and his so-called beast that he set around the kingdom, which is what you have to do in order to finally stand up against him and bring him down for good. And of course, this voice also talks to you. I'm not going to be surprised who it is, but let's not spoil it too much. Yeah, I should have mentioned before there's going to be major spoilers in this, but hey, I think I spoiled enough here. So, this is where you basically feel around for the game and getting to know all the controls and how everything works, and you may notice you do get melee weapons, which don't last forever. Obviously, there's some that have basically a little bit of power, and you can hit enemies with them, chop down trees, and collect fruit, and so forth. And you get a limited stash of how many you can keep in your inventory, as well as bows, and of course shields as well. Though you can upgrade your inventory, but that I'll get to in a little bit. So, yes, of course you could fight enemies along the way, which you're going to be doing a lot in this game when you come across these different sections of the map, because yes, as I mentioned before in my premature review, this map and this whole game is huge. I'm not kidding. Yes, what you're looking at right now is not really the entire map. I mean, this is just a small portion. To unlock these different parts of the map, you have to climb these tall towers, which appear once you unlock the very first one. So, yeah, you basically have to find each and every one of these towers. They're all scattered across the land because, well, that's how you unlock this entire huge map. And some of them can be easy, others can be tricky, and others can be just straight up frustrating. I mean, a lot of them have enemies blocking, these damn freaking robot guards. Ugh, come on, stop shooting me. And a lot of times you have a hard time trying to climb the damn thing because it's either wet, slippery, you have these freaking asshole wizard guys trying to shoot at you. I mean, come on, give me a break. Because, yeah, these are really tall towers, and of course, your stamina meter, which I'll get into a little bit, can only handle so much climbing. So basically you get to a resting spot, catch your breath, climb some more, catch your breath, climb some more, and there you go. Put your slab in, which basically this is like your Bible right here, in to basically reprogram and unlock different parts of the map. So, yep, as I said, there's several of these all over the place. Every time you unlock them, it makes finding things on the map way, way more easier. But yes, it is enormous. And, of course, there's not only different sections of the map that look different and are big, with a lot of enemies swarming around, a lot of different environments. Yes, there's also different environments with different temperatures, which can really pose a challenge to you throughout this entire game. And you're ill-equipped to have to deal with them unfairly at the beginning, because this could be a little bit tricky trying to navigate through the freezing cold with pretty much nothing to be able to warm yourself with. So every time you go to a cold climate with clothes that are not warm enough to help you through the cold, well, then you're going to start losing health. Yes, of course you got heart pieces, and yes, just like Skyward Sword, you have stamina. So yes, stamina is obviously very key for running, swimming, gliding, and of course, climbing. Yes, climbing you can do a lot of in this game, but the only problem with climbing is these big walls and stuff. It can pose a real challenge if your stamina meter is down quite a bit. Another big problem with climbing is, especially if it's really wet, that could also be a problem because you can slip a lot, and this can really be aggravating and a pain in the ass. Come on! Alright, let's not jump the gun here. Basically, you gotta make it through this cold part at the beginning, and how to refill your health. You get fruit. Remember how I said you could pick up fruit? Well, you go to your inventory screen, you eat them up. So that's a start right there. And as soon as you make it to the top and you basically beat out the quest, chopping down trees, well, finally that old man meets up with you. Somehow he has some kind of teleport ability, which you also get. And, well, he gives you the doublet that keeps you warm. Man, what a good help, right? So that's the start of the game, and, well, you'll come across your first set of things called shrines. These are a key thing in this game because, well, there's not only a ton of them, but every time you beat one, you get the so-called orb. Collect 4 of them, and you can get an upgrade on either one of your hearts or your stamina. Alright, now we're talking here. To do so, well, there's a place called the Temple of Time, and there are several other of these things that you can go to, but screw that. I go to this place, and, well, 4 of them, and there you go. Get your stamina meter, all your hearts and everything all the way up, and you're all set to go, and it definitely makes the gameplay a lot easier. Of course, I should have mentioned with the shrines, when you've completed the first several of them, you get these different abilities with your Sheikah Slate. Yes, your Sheikah Slate is your main item of usage, not only for these abilities, but for, well, for updating your map, and knowing the way around, and using the map to locate and everything like that, create waypoints, and of course, finding these shrines, which are definitely helpful, and, well, you get these different powers. First one you get is the magnetic ability. This ability is useful for picking up and moving, well, magnetic items. Again, very useful, and most of the time when you obtain these abilities inside the shrine, well, that's when you're going to use them. So, it makes perfect sense, and it's an easy way to get you to learn these abilities and get used to them, because you're going to be using them a lot in these games, I should have mentioned before. Another ability you get is the bombs. You get a square and a round one. The round one, though, rolls a lot more. It's a no-brainer right there, and the square one is the one you want to use to basically keep the bomb in place if you don't want it to roll away. And yes, you can use 2 at a time, but of course, as soon as you set it off, you want to do it from a distance. You have to wait till the thing reloads, and yes, you get an unlimited amount. Not like any of the other past Zelda games. You can keep reloading, just gotta wait for it to reload, and, well, keep using them over and over again. These are obviously handy for blowing up walls, activating switches, and of course, taking out enemies. Yeah, it's so much fun right there. And even blowing up rocks to find all sorts of minerals and stuff that'll definitely come in handy with getting rubies, but again, let's not jump the gun here. You also get the ability to create cryogenic cubes out of the water, no matter how shallow, no matter how deep. It's very useful, especially if you're getting over water and any type of liquid, in fact, like over these mud piles to get up these towers. And of course you get a time stop ability. It looks like a little lock, but that's what it does. It locks time for any moving objects that it's, well, you're able to lock on. Basically, it has to, well, look like that in order to be able to stop time for those things, whether it's a rolling spike ball, or even anything that's just sitting still, if you want to screw up its movement and make it go in a different direction. Yeah, you get a short period of time, then you have to have, of course, a melee weapon to keep hitting it, course, it could damage your weapon, but that's not the point there. Yeah, pretty much this can be used, like any of these other abilities, anywhere, inside or outside the shrine. So, again, definitely comes in handy right here. So, yeah, those are the 4 power-ups you get in the first 4 shrines in the game. And as you can see, most of these shrines are obviously puzzles. Yeah, majority of these shrines are all puzzles and everything, but then there's other ones that, well, could be tricky to find, well, outside of them, and basically just walk in and take the orb. Yeah, I guess they figured if you went through all that trouble to find the thing, like trying to get through the cold water, or trying to find inside the cave or anything like that, or going through the shrine quest to get the thing to pop up out of the ground, well, it's well worth it there. Because, yeah, some of these do have things called shrine quests, and, well, there's a lot of them in this game just to get these things unlocked, so whether it's finding all the different birds to help complete a song, fighting and taking the piece of jewelry off these 3 giant brother monsters, man, look at those things, rolling a giant snowball down the hill, creating a shadow over one of these things, trying to get on top and tame and ride a deer. Yeah, you can actually do that, but this could be very tricky here. As well as accessing and trying to find a way around these huge labyrinths. Damn, look at the size of these things. And yeah, there's much easier ways if you don't want to complete these damn things, trying to find a way around them. But you miss out on some pretty nice surprises and stuff along the way, even though you have a ton of enemies to fight before you actually complete the main shrine quest in these things. Photographing stuff with your camera, yes, you actually get a camera in this game, but not till a little later on in the game. Not gonna really get into that, but yep, you can photograph stuff, like for this guy on the beach, you have to photograph and get proof of the different scattered ship parts all over the beach. Yep, and you bring it right back to him. So, yeah, that's just one of the many photograph missions, and there's a couple other side ones here, but not shrine quest missions, like photographing the fairy fountain. Yes, you get scattered fairy fountains all over the place. Not to get too off topic, but first one's pretty easy to access, but the other one's scattered all over this huge map. Well, get your wallet ready, because these fairies demand a lot of rubies. Yep, they sure do. And a lot of materials to help you upgrade your armor and clothing and so forth. Because, well, that's what they help you do to help you make your quest a lot easier. Anyway, yes, getting back to the shrine quest, I know I'm getting off track here. Yes, there's a lot of them, and this just scratches the surface, and as you can tell, they vary, and some of them are easy, as you can tell, and some of them are just a straight-up pain in the ass. Like this one, trying to wait for the blood moon. Yes, everybody's made the remarks about this one, and I couldn't agree more, it's a pain in the ass. Having to wait for this one, it just completely comes up at seemingly at random points, and then you have to be at this location at a certain time. And getting back basically to the inside of the shrines themselves, well, basically, as I said before, there's puzzles, and after completing the basic shrine quests most of the time, you can simply just walk up and claim your orb, or there are these ones called Tests of Strength. This is obviously where you take on these robot things that, well, obviously test your strength and combat skills to face off against them. The minor Tests of Strength ones are pretty simple and straightforward, just simply throw bombs and, well, learn different moves when you're starting out, taking on your first one. It gives you the whole tutorial and everything, so it's pretty simple in fact. But then when you get to the modest Test of Strength, it gets a little bit more trickier and takes a lot longer to take these damn things out. Yeah, they'll do all sorts of moves to try to kill you, but not as hard as major Tests of Strength. Yeah, this is where it really puts you to the test right here. Your combat skills and everything are really going to be needed here. And, well, make sure you have as many weapons as you possibly can, heart pieces, you name it. You're really going to need it, because this bastard won't go down so easily in these. Trust me, the word major doesn't lie on this one. It's best to basically come back when you have more heart pieces and stamina, and especially stronger weapons and upgraded armor. Alright, armor. We might as well get into that. I already mentioned the cold resistant material, and then there's also heat resistant material that you have to get through near the Elden Volcano and, well, basically the Goron Mines to take out one of these beasts. Because one of these big beasts, which, well, basically is like the game's fortress, is up here, and, well, to get through here, well, you're gonna need it. Or you could just take your chance and try to get as much food as possible. Yes, food you get. This is basically your health, and I might as well get into this. Apples, fruit, anything that's off the ground, you see it, pick it up. Don't be afraid to, it's all yours for the taking, and as well as meat. Yes, you think Link is going to go vegan in this game? Well, dream on, because hunting is definitely a key thing in this game, and the title Breath of the Wild does not lie. Yes, there's definitely a feel of nature and the wild in this game, because there's always going to be wolves and animals that are going to try to hunt you down. There's boars, foxes, birds, anything you can shoot with a bow and arrow or throw a bomb at, anything. As soon as they go down and die, well, the meat is all yours for the taking right there. And you find a pot with fire underneath it. If it doesn't have fire, we'll just light it up with either the fire arrows or get a torch. That's one of your many melee weapons. And, well, there you go. You just select your items right there. Select some butter or rock salt, anything along with meat, fish, fruit, mushrooms, anything that you found that's in your inventory. You can cook it right up. Of course, you only have a limit of 5 things you can carry at the same time to throw on the stove, and cook it right up, and bon appetit. Well, basically it's best to save it for later when your health is low. And it tells you how many hearts it replenishes. So, and yeah, you can keep a good majority of food in your inventory, but eventually you're going to run out of room, and you're going to have to either eat one of them or, well, basically hold on to them and not cook them.